Hello everyone! So in this video, pag-uusapan natin yung relation and function. Kailan ba nagiging function ng isang relation o kailan ba siya relation lang? So ano ba yung relation? So when we say relation, it is a rule that pairs each element in one set called the domain with one or more elements from a second set called the range. So technically speaking, at para mas madaling ma-visualize yung relation, ipakita natin through a mapping. So makikita natin dito sa ating mapping diagram na meron tayong dalawang set. Ito yung set A na makikita natin at itong set B na nakikita natin dito. Itong set A na to, ang tawag natin sa mga elements na nasa kanya ay domain. At ang lahat ng elements naman na makikita natin kay set B, ang tawag natin doon ay range. So, by definition, si relation daw is a rule. So, ibig sabihin, no, makikita natin through a mapping na yung bawat element ni set A ay nakamap sa isa element ni set B. So, pwede yun, no? Kasi sabi naman sa definition natin, with one or more elements. So, technically speaking, kapag yung bawat element si set A ay nakamap sa isa or higit pang element si set B, relation yung tawag natin doon. So, ang relation natin may iba't ibang uri din. So, makikita natin dito sa mapping diagram that this relation is a one-to-one relation. Dahil ang bawat element ni set A ay nakamap sa nag-iisa o unique element ni set B. So, si 1 nakamap kay 5, si 2 nakamap kay 6, si 3 nakamap kay 7, si 4 nakamap kay 8. So, this is called a one-to-one relation. At tulad ng sinabi natin, lahat ng naka-set A, yun yung domain natin. So, ang domain natin for this particular mapping diagram ay 1, 2, 3, and 4. At ang range naman natin ay si 5, 6, 7, and 8. Another example is this one. So, by looking at the mapping diagram, we can see that there is an element ni set A na nakamap sa set B, no, sa element ni set B ng higit sa isa. So, makikita natin si 1 nakamap kay 5, si 2 nakamap kay 6, si 3 nakamap kay 7, at nakamap kay 8. In this scenario, ang tawag natin dito ay one-to-many relation. Kasi merong element ni set A na nakamap sa higit sa isang element ni set B. Tulad nito example natin. Okay? So, this is a one-to-many relation. At ang domain natin, makikita natin we have 1, 2, 3. At ang range natin ay 5, 6, 7, and 8. Another mapping diagram is this one. As we can see, si 1 nakamap kay 6, si 2 nakamap kay 6, si 3 nakamap kay 6, at si 4 nakamap kay 8. In this particular example, makikita natin na mayroong maraming elements set A na nakamap sa nag-iisang element ni set B. And therefore, we can say that this relation is a many-to-one relation. Dahil maraming elements si set A na nakamap sa nag-iisang element ni set B. At ang domain natin dito, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, at ang range natin ay 6 and 8. Okay, so this is how we illustrate relation para mas madaling maintindihan, and by visual inspection, no, makikita natin that there are three kinds of relation. We have the one-to-one, one-to-many, many-to-one relation. Relation can also be seen in real life. For example, yung LRN tsaka yung student. So yung learner's reference number ay unique yan sa bawat isang estudyante, and that is why ang tawag sa ganyang relation ay one-to-one. Another is, for example, yung teacher to students. For example, ako yung advisor and then yung students ko yung section Galileo. So that is a one-to-many relation. And also, pwede rin naman yung children to parent. Okay, so 5 silang magkakapatid sa isang nanay or sa isang tatay. And that is known as the many-to-one relation. These are just some of the examples, no, na we can relate relation in real life. So, there are different ways to represent a relation. So, isa-isahin natin. Meron tayong tinatawag na mapping, o pwede natin i-represent through a table, pwede rin namang set of ordered pairs, or pwede rin namang by graphing. So, by mapping, ito yung typical na example natin, no? So, nakamap yung mga elements ng isang set to another set. So, this is an example of a mapping diagram to represent a relation. By means of a table, makikita natin dito, same example yung ginamit ko, na kung ano-ano yung mga elements ni set X na nakikita natin dito, yun yung ilalagay natin dito sa horizontal, no? Sa ating table. No? So, ito yung X natin. So, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. Ito naman yung set Y natin. So, we have 5, 6, 7, and 8. We can also express this relation as a set of ordered pairs. So technically, pa-partner lang natin si X and Y. So we have 1, 5. We also have 2, 6, 3, 7, and 4, 8. We can also show the relation by means of a graph. Meron tayong Cartesian plane. I-plot lang natin yung points. For example, we have 1, 5, 2, 6, 3, 7, and 4, 8. So these are the different ways to represent a relation. Now, let's try to differentiate yung relation kay function. So by definition, ito yung ating relation, a rule that pairs each element in one set with one or more elements from a second set. By definition, ang function is a rule that pairs each element in one set, called the domain, to exactly one element from a second set, called the range. So technically speaking, saan lang ba sila nagkaiba? Makikita natin yan dito, no? Pinakamabisang paraan or mabilis na way, makikita natin yan through this mapping diagram. Si relation, kailangan daw yung bawat element ni set X ay nakamap sa isa or higit pa. Kay function, yung bawat isang element ni set X ay nakamap sa exactly one. So, nag-iisang element lang ni set Y. And by looking at these mapping diagrams, makikita natin no, yung element ni set X ay nakamap lang, okay, sa isang element ni Y. That is why si one-to-one relation is a function. Okay, kasi yung bawat isang element ni set X ay nakamap sa exactly one element doon sa second set. Kung titignan naman natin si one-to-many, kung titignan natin, no, yung bawat element niya. So, si 1 nakamap kay 5, si 2 nakamap kay 6, si 3 nakamap kay 7, si 3 nakamap kay 8. Well, technically, makikita natin na merong isang element ni set X na nakamap sa higit sa isa. Okay, sa higit sa isang element ni set Y. That is why this one-to-many relation is not a function. At kung titignan naman natin yung last example, si 1 nakamap kay 6, si 2 nakamap kay 6, si 3 nakamap kay 6, at si 4 nakamap kay 8. And this is a function because yung bawat element ni set X ay nakamap sa isang element lang ni set Y. That is why kung titignan natin, no, kapag one-to-one yung relation, function yon. Kapag many-to-one yung relation, function din yon. Because we can conclude that every function is a relation. But not every relation is a function. Kasi nga naman, si one-to-one, tsaka si many-to-one ay relation. Okay? Okay? So, function yon na relation. Pero hindi lahat ng relation ay function kasi nga, si one-to-many relation siya, pero hindi siya function. Ito lang yung tatandaan ninyo and you're good to go. Now, ang tanong natin, kaya na nating i-identify kapag meron tayong mapping diagram kung function or not a function. Ang tanong natin, paano naman kung may table? Well, kung titignan nyo yung table, ang technique na gagamitin lang natin is to look for the x coordinates. Kung makikita mo yung 2, 5, 7, and 9, makikita natin na walang naulit na element. Okay, so that means this table represents a function. Okay, if there is no repeating element in the domain, okay, so function yun. For the second example, makikita natin yung domain natin dito na 1, 1, 2, 3. So, merong repeating element na 1. So, therefore, hindi ito function. Ganun lang kasimple pag-analyze ng table. Kung meron naman tayong set of ordered pairs, as simple as kung paano natin ginawa sa table, titignan lang natin yung x coordinates or yung domain. So, makikita natin dito negative 1, 0, 1, 2. So, there is no repeating elements. So, therefore, this set of ordered pairs represent a function. So, paano naman natin malalaman kung yung graph natin ay nagre-represent ng function? pwede natin gamitin yung vertical line test. Ang sabi dito that if any vertical line passes through more than one point of the graph, the relation is not a function. So technically speaking, yung graph natin tulad nito is considered a relation. But ang question natin is that function ba ito? So by using vertical line test, masasagot natin yung tanong. So kapag daw yung vertical line na idodraw natin doon sa graph ay tumama ng higit sa isa doon sa graph, hindi na yun function. Let's consider this vertical line here. Mapansin natin if we put vertical line here as our vertical line test na ginagamit, makikita natin that there is a point here na tinamaan doon sa graph. At isa lang yan. So that means this graph represents a function. For the second example, let's take a look at this graph. If we put vertical line here, kahit saan naman dyan, no? So, hanapin mo lang kung saan mo gustong ilagay yung vertical line, you will observe that there are 2 points na tinamaan doon sa graph. So, that's more than 1. So, therefore, this graph does not represent a function. And for the last example in this video, so makikita natin dito na meron tayong horizontal line at kapag gumamit tayo ng vertical line test dito sa portion na ito, makikita natin na tinamaan yung graph natin in just exactly 1 point. And therefore, this graph represents a function. So that is how easy to determine whether the graph represents a function or not. Tandaan lang natin si vertical line test. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you learned something today. See you again soon.